Okay, everybody, I was absolutely blown away when I saw the title of this video. I don't know what to expect, I don't know what she's gonna say, but Candace Owens is back. And she's come out with a video with a pretty brazen title, I must say. And I'm guessing there's some hidden meaning to this title. It's actually not racist, and the joke is, haha, made you think I was racist, but, I don't know what the joke's supposed to be there. The title is Black America Owes Me an Apology. Smirking emoji. Like the smug smirking emoji where it's like, you know, that emoji? The DreamWorks smile emoji? So I don't really know what to expect from this, but apparently Candace Owens thinks that Black America owes her an apology. Okay, what the are we about to hear? I hope this is like trolling. Actually, I hope it's not. I hope she just goes fully mask off here. That'd be really funny.
Happy birthday to me. Not really my birthday, but it feels like a birthday. I feel like I should be receiving presents and that somebody should be making me a cake because of this little update on Black Lives Matter. My friends, guess what? They are headed for insolvency after plunging $8.5 million into the red. Wow, what? How didn't they collect $90 million following the George Floyd?
So I assume this is the Black Lives Matter organization. So is Candace Owens saying that the Black Lives Matter organization is Black America? How mask off racist has Candace Owens gotten? Is she just like full on? Like, is she just full on like pro-white supremacy, like blatantly mask off on her show now? Like, how open is she about it? Why does she look like a bumblebee? Like, that yellow fucking blazer is not a good look. Yeah, no, I don't... What? She has the Hitler clip where she goes mask off. That is true. She did say that Hitler went wrong as soon as he started going outside Germany. That's when he went wrong. She literally said that. So yeah, you're not wrong. She did go mask off a while ago. She really thinks she's white? I think you might actually be right. No. Like, Candace Owens is one of the most blatant and, like, proven grifters out there. She knows exactly what she's doing. She believes nothing she's saying. She is just following the money. The evidence has been very stark for this. You can actually Google Candace Owens grifter. And I mean, maybe I could bring it up, but, like, I've done multiple segments. There's, like, a live updated thread on a particular, like, news website that keeps up to date with all of the info about Candace Owens that, like, shows she's a grifter. For those that don't know, Candace Owens' like first rise to fame online was when she started a website called Social Autopsy, which was a doxing website for doxing quote-unquote cyberbullies. Like, if someone was racist to you online, you would go on Media Autopsy and you would, like, post their docs. And obviously she got a ton of shit for that from the right. And shortly after that, she started pushing for, like, right-wing politics because she realized, oh, okay, so this is where the money is.
Who was it that was saying that it was a scam? I don't remember. Who was the girl that was saying that BLM was definitely a scam?
Okay. BLM is not an organization. BLM is a movement with an organization named after said movement. I'm sorry, but, like, this is just another instance of blatant racism, but Black Lives Matter is a movement, not an organization. So when you say Black Lives Matter is this, you need to clarify if you mean the organization or the movement. Because if you mean the movement, you mean a large amount of, like, pro-civil rights activists in America. But if you just mean the organization, then you're talking about a pretty small organization of people comparatively.
I don't support the Black Lives Matter movement whatsoever because the Black Lives Matter movement does not support me. I think that a better title for that movement would be Black Deaths Matter. They seem to protest, and they seem to rage, and they seem to ruin, and they seem to support.
Xanderhall, let's make a company called Alt-Right Inc. and then run the company into the ground and pretend it's representative of the entire alt-right. That's basically what she's done here. Like, it's like, yes, Black Lives Matter, the organization that was made up of people that are, I mean, supposedly representative of the ideas that I mean, Black Lives Matter is such a broad, generalized, like, movement of people that, like, you can't generalize the people that are in it, you know? Like, there's so many different types of people who support BLM, like, conceptually. Like, there are a ton of black conservatives who are, like, on board with everything Candace Owens says on every other issue, but if they heard what she has to say about BLM, they wouldn't really be on board. Like, the concept and ideas that BLM stands for as a movement are very ubiquitous in American society at this point. Like, people don't disagree with what the movement stands for. People disagree with what the right has said the movement stands for.
Violence when a black person dies. What about when a black person lives? There are tons of black people that are trying to better themselves in their community. There are tons of...
What? Wait. She unironically said the media is so focused on when a black person dies, but what about when a black person lives? So what she's doing here is trying to say the media is racist because it only focuses on making it look like black people are in a bad position in society. But what she's actually doing is trying to say that media organizations cover racial inequality too much and they need to stop. Because look at how successful some black people can be despite the odds. And despite the cultural and institutional and fucking systemic barriers, right? It's survivorship bias, but obviously she knows what she's doing. She's pushing it to an audience of white people.
Black people that are disadvantaged by the homes that they are born into and just not having money. These groups do not fund them. They will pay for somebody's funeral, but they will not pay for somebody's college education.
You say Black Lives Matter is what?
Is a political arm for the Democratic Party.
That has been co-opted.
Correct.
Patrisse Cullors continues to lie. Black Lives Matter continues to lie.
$90 million, of which $21 million apparently
Fucking
went to,
Tucker.
according to Black Lives Matter themselves, it went to building the black movement. Like, I don't even know what that means. $25 million going to building a black movement. Apparently.
How much do you want to bet at least some of that $25 million went to exactly what Candace Owens was saying the BLM organization doesn't do? I don't really know much about the organization of BLM, though I will say I've seen some stuff that makes me inclined to think a little cringe, maybe a little cringe. But when the right goes after that organization, it is for no other reason than racism.
The black movement was Patrisse moving herself, a black woman moving herself into other areas of the communities of people that she claims are oppressing black Americans. She's fearful of white people. White people are so bad. Well, why doesn't she want to live amongst black people?
Oh my God, it was me. It was actually me. I was saying that for years. And I got called an Uncle Tom. I got called a coon. I got called all sorts of things. I got called a bed wench. I got called someone that was tap dancing for the white man. And I think what they were really looking for was the...
Hey, you know what's crazy? All the people that called Candace Owens these things were probably the same woke scold types that we were responding to earlier. Like, the types of people who say that are the types of people, like, every time you engage in this type of behavior, you degrade the appearance of everybody who's on the opposing side of the person you're criticizing. Even if it's just you who's trying to go, like, play dirty and sending death threats or some shit. You make everybody who agrees with you look bad. Because then they can frame everybody who disagrees with them as sending death threats and deranged or yada 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 yada. Nas Vanderhall, I called her that too, and so did my normie grandpa. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it makes critique of her look good. Because she loves pulling the race card. And she'll pull the race card on other black people. So you can't just say, well, I'm black, so I can do it. Because she'll just say, oh, well, you're just, you think I'm a race traitor because I have, you know, my own ideas.
Phrase that Candace is more intelligent than me and wasn't going to fall for another race hustle. Because that's what Black Lives Matter always was, right? And people that are emotional and are uneducated respond to that, right? They respond to someone.
I love the idea of Candace Owens, a conservative pundit who is like a very proven liar and grifter, saying that left-wingers and Democrats tend to be uneducated. Meanwhile, these people are trying to destroy colleges, like the concept of college, they're opposed to it. all forms of higher education and science, they're opposed to it. I mean, statistically and arguably, people who vote Democrat have a higher, like, education and, like, test higher on IQ tests. Just, like, every form of, like, ways you can try to approximate how intelligent somebody is, Democrats tend to be more intelligent. Obviously, we don't have a perfect way of measuring it, but, you know, we have ways of approximating it. And, yeah, Democrats do tend to test more intelligently than Republicans. They tend to be more educated. They tend to care more about the truth, which shouldn't really surprise you. Yeah, they're the ones that are always saying college needs to be abolished.
I'm saying, oh, the Klansmen are coming back if you don't vote for me. And then they run in the streets and they say, oh, we got to protest Trump because this person tells me the Klansman is coming. But they don't even stop to think. This is what BLM.
Candace, I don't know if you know this, but far-right neo-Nazis carrying Confederate flags invaded the capital of this country a couple years ago in the name of Donald Trump, the populist Republican president that you shill for and the Daily Wire shills for. Or maybe you're shilling for DeSantis now. I actually don't know which side the Daily Wire is on. But you were shilling for Trump for years and years and years. You had Trump stick as far down your throat as it could go. Yeah, there were literally Klan flyers being put in my friend's mailbox in their hometown, my state. This country has sundown towns, okay? Candace Owens herself knows there are towns in this country that she would not be able to go outside after dark in and be safe. She knows places like that exist, okay? She knows. She is well aware of this fact, okay? She's fully aware of that fact, and that knowledge is in her brain as she says every word that she is spewing at the camera, okay? Content idea, taking Candace Owens to sundown towns. You know what would be an even better content idea? What if, like... Never mind. I was gonna say... What if we do a video like what Gideon did, but we go to, like, a legit fucking sundown town strapped? And with GoPros, recording everything. I think that would be a good video. I don't think it would be allowed on YouTube, though.
Did. They wanted the ultimate hustle, right? They said, okay, we got Trump in office. We've got the media telling everybody that he's aligned with David Duke and that he's literally Adolf Hitler. So now we're going to get the lowest denominator, which we believe to be Black Americans, the dumbest people, the least educated people, which, by the way, factually speaking, when you take...
Strapped? What does strapped mean? I'll show you what strapped means. This right here is what I mean by strapped, brother. Such a fun gun, holy shit. Mosin supremacy. Candace Owens is a white supremacist? Well, I'm a Mosin supremacist.
Take a look at the literacy rates in America. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. We're going to get those people, expect them to respond emotionally and follow us into the streets. And they can grab some handbags. What they'll get back is a few handbags, and then business owners will move out of their neighborhoods, and they'll be impoverished after they sell those handbags. But we're going to give them some fun. And Black people just did it. I mean, it was just so dumb. It was embarrassing. It was foolish. I didn't care, not a single minute when I was called a name, because when you're right, you're right, okay? When you are right, you are right. And it pays to just wait and let time settle the dust. And boy, has time done just that. Financial disclosures obtained.
And I will say, the right is very good at triggering lefties with their wrong smugness. Like, they just play like a smug character. I think that's basically become the Daily Wire. I think the Daily Wire probably has, like, trainings on how best to engage in rhetoric. Like, be as smug as possible when pushing the propaganda. It goads lefties into vitriolic responses. And it can create more material to work with. I imagine they literally have trainings in the Daily Wire offices about that, like how best to engage in rhetoric.
By the Washington Free Beacon show the perilous state of BLM Global Networks Foundation, which officially emerged in 2020 as a more formal way of structuring the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement. Scam. Yet.
Yeah, I know you think, well, you don't think civil rights is a scam, obviously. Your audience does, though.
Despite the financial controversy and scrutiny, BLM continued to hire relatives of the founder, Patrisse Cullors, and several board members. Cullors' brother, Paul Cullors, set up 2 companies, which were paid $1.6 million, providing professional security services.
So, like, she's not being ironic in the title. Her title is just unironically Black America owes me an apology. She's unironically saying that Black Americans owe her an apology. How do you I don't think black people need to apologize to Candace Owens because Candace Owens is racist. Oh my god, she really is, like, she's reached pick-me levels that are, like, just beyond, like, she's broken the scale. She's broken the scale.
Basically, Patrisse Cullors hired all her family, all her friends. She dispersed all of the money to them, and now they're going to leave BLM.
Yeah, no, Candace Owens needs to apologize to black people.
Where it is, dead in the water, because it
Just
was
all
never
black
about
people.
anything other than hustling white people that feel guilty for being white. They're idiots. And black people that are stupid and are so invested in their race that they suspend logical thinking. Also, idiots. And I don't
It's literally, like, could you just imagine a white person saying this? Daily Wire is just fucking busting the fattest nuts right now over the fact that they've got a black woman who can just say the most racist shit and get away with it because of her race and play the race card in defense. You just know that they are so fucking happy. I wouldn't be surprised if Candace Owens is one of the highest paid people at the Daily Wire. I wouldn't be surprised if Candace Owens is actually paid more than Ben Shapiro. Because she is that valuable. I don't think you guys realize how valuable of an asset a black conservative is to right-wing rhetoric. I'm going to get called racist for this by mostly black conservatives, but I don't really care, because it's completely true. But when I was a chuddy little guy, a chuddy little teenage fuckhead, I loved having my racist biases validated by black conservatives. Oh my god. Being a guy and having, like, supposed feminists or just any woman validate my misogynistic biases, it felt great to be, like, a white guy who feels oppressed for his race, watching chud videos where it's a black person saying, yeah, I'm black and even I agree. You are oppressed for your race. White people are oppressed. At the end of the day, the chuds that are getting radicalized, they want to be oppressed. They are looking for content that tells them they are oppressed, and they are fighting a uphill battle against an oppressor. That is why they say the woke mind virus, the woke agenda. They pretend like they're the silent majority, but at the same time, they acknowledge that this is, like, taken over everybody's mind, and the majority of people have fallen to the woke mind virus. It's constantly contradictory. But I mean, it's just very common. A lot of chuds literally just want somebody who is part of the groups that they have bigoted biases towards to validate those bigoted biases. And people who will do that are extremely valuable assets to right-wing rhetoric.
feel bad for either of these people. So if you donated to Black Lives Matter because you were feeling white and guilty, or you're feeling black and stupid, I just don't care. You got what you deserve.
You know what the title of this, you know what the thumbnail of the video is going to be? It's just going to be Candace Owens looking angry with a speech bubble, and the speech bubble is just going to say stupid black people. Because that's literally what she's just saying black people in America are stupid, and that's why they care about civil rights. That's what she's saying to her audience. That's the message she's giving to her audience. She just hates black people? No, she doesn't hate black people. She's a grifter. She's making content for people that hate black people and want a black person to say, yeah, even I hate black people.
So go on, Patrisse, with your big bad self. Enjoy those millionaire houses. Invite me over. Invite me over, Patrisse. Let's hang out. Okay, speaking of BLM and individuals that are low IQ, who, of course, end up being the most racist individuals in society and also the most violent individuals in society.
See, she always loves playing the race card and acting like she's the victim of racism. Like, every time you criticize her for, like, anything that is racist, right? So you gotta make sure you're criticizing for what she says and what she believes. You gotta avoid any racialized, like, insults or comments or jabs.
because when you don't have any intellect, it's very easy to impart your emotions at all times, and your emotions will spiral and you become physically violent because you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to rationalize. Well, that was my verdict instantly regarding the
No, Candace Owens does not believe any of this. I can prove it. I can literally prove that she doesn't believe any of this, and I will as soon as the segment is done.
adjunct professor at Hunter College yesterday. We showed you who went up to a pro-life group that was simply passing out brochures to state why they were pro-life. And she freaked out, accused them of violence because they didn't agree with her. And then she threw their brochures and attempted to flip the table in this horrific act of violence. And Hunter College was investigating it, and I declared.
Unironically based, the people that were there with the pamphlets were anti-freedom to have an abortion. I don't care. Yeah, like the idea of like, I do think that like doing that kind of thing makes you look cringe, but I don't actually care. Like, I don't think they did anything wrong. I think they did something that's optically wrong. Like the idea that you have to just like morally that you should like turn the other cheek to people that are advocating for you to lose rights. Bullshit. Rights are not granted to you by God. They're granted to you by the state. Because if the state wanted to, they could just kill you, enslave you, do whatever the fuck they want to you, because they hold the power. Power is violence. It is the threat of violence constantly looming over you. That is where the state gets its power. And yeah, like it's just, yeah. If there are people that want to take power of the state to take your rights away, then I don't think morally you have to turn the other cheek to that. That's bullshit to me. Bring up the Nazi clip where she uses her identity as a black woman to not be a Nazi sympathizer. Yeah, she loves saying, I can't be a Nazi because I'm black, but I'm instead going to bring something up that's a bit more compelling. It shows that she's very blatantly a grifter.
That this is a violent woman. Well, if I had just held on for a few minutes, I would have found that she then was pursued by a New York Post reporter and a cameraman at her house, and she put a machete to the reporter's neck. The footage is unbelievable. Take a listen.
Away from my door. Get the f away from my door.
Let's get out of here. You can't do that.
Fucking based! Those were New York Post reporters. That is fucking based. Holy shit. Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, the New York Post is like a really scummy tabloid like magazine. They have paparazzi that like chase and harass people that they want to get stories on. They do a lot of stories where they dox sex workers that have like other jobs and get them fired. Like, for example, they famously doxed a OnlyFans woman who was also a paramedic and got her fired from her job as a paramedic. They do a lot of shit like that. It's very much a tabloid, like right-leaning outlet, and they came to her property and were bothering her, and so she came out with a fucking machete when they wouldn't leave and said, go the fuck away, and held a machete to his neck because he wouldn't leave. If someone comes to your house to fucking bother you and they won't leave, morally, I think it's okay to bring out the machete. That reporter was just lucky she wasn't Latina. She would have used it. Xander Hall, I was going to do OnlyFans content with a paramedic, but she doesn't want to do it now because of what the New York Post did. Exactly. Yeah, it's scary. Sex workers are heavily maligned and treated like shit by our society, and a lot of people are just totally okay with it.
I mean, it is so shocking. You can't even imagine this taking place anywhere, but I don't know, in a country that is being overtaken by ISIS and they're about to conduct a beheading. That's what she looks like. She looks like an ISIS soldier, which, by the way, many
My God. It's like she knows she's absorbed so much of Tucker Carlson's audience that she's just like hitting every point that'll resonate with them. All the racist white boomers.
people, the most radical BLM soldiers, were ISIS soldiers, right? They were willing to go this far. So you kind of begin to peel back this onion and you realize, wait, what the hell is happening? She then followed them outside onto the street with this machete and chased them running. Take a look.
Based.
So what you have at first is these two men. They look like they're maybe going to their car, and she's behind them, and she has her hood up, and she has her machete.
and she's
Probably
pursuing the
don't
guy
chase them
particularly
out.
that
You probably shouldn't chase them out, though, to be fair. I wouldn't do this. I would probably just end it at, like, okay, leave my door. Like, get off my property. I think now we're entering the illegal territory. And probably immoral. I think once now they're running, I think it's probably best not to chase them when they're running. They didn't steal anything. They didn't, like, hurt you. They're just running now. But obviously, like, Candace Owens is just going to find any instance of, like, a bad thing happening that someone who is, like, even loosely aligned with left-wing ideals has done, and use it as a way of, like, condemning all progressive values. Anti-racism is bad because a black woman chased a reporter for a tabloid website with a machete. Also, like, I'm sorry, but Candace Owens has defended the straight-up murder of several black people on her show. She's only upset that it's a white guy being chased with a machete.
has the camera, right? Because she thinks he's taking photos, not realizing that there's a dashboard camera that's catching all of this. She is chasing him on foot. And then his partner, who I'm assuming is the actual reporter, then chases her away. I mean, this is just unbelievable footage. They're running around the car. She is a machete-wielding maniac, but also an adjunct professor at Hunter College who also taught at NYU. This is terrifying stuff. And this is not something to mock. Obviously, this woman should be arrested. And then Hunter College finally said, oh, now we're going to release her. So she's since been fired. But why did it take her wielding a machete to be fired, right? She should have been fired immediately after she violently attacked those kids who simply had brochures. How did she even make it into the hallways of Hunter College or NYU? Oh, I know. It was another DEI initiative where you have
All right, I'll let her talk.
a bunch of criminals that are flying under the radar of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because what you are including are people that are insane, that are uneducated.
She thinks the colleges are doing, like, affirmative action to let criminals into teaching positions at colleges. I don't even have to say anything. She just goes on racist rants. If I just put a color filter over her that made her white, it would just be like a Nazi speech. And it would require no response from me. But the fact that she's a black woman, like, necessitates that I explain why this is still racist, I guess. But, like, seriously, imagine this coming from the mouth of a white person. This is just blatantly anti-black. She's just trying to stoke up generalized hatred from an anti-black racist audience against all black people based on the actions of one person. The comparisons to, like, an ISIS terrorist with the machete thing, like, that is very blatant. It is very blatant.
That are low IQ, okay, and that are going to demand that you let them into those spaces to teach what? Militancy. That is exactly what she was there to teach, okay?
Yeah, she's literally doing the Family Guy joke where Lois runs for president or whatever and goes on stage and just says, 9/11 is bad. And everyone, like, goes apeshit clapping.
Calling herself a professor of the arts. No, she's a complete and utter whack job that should be in prison. Want to know another fun fact about this woman? Shalene Rodriguez, that's her name, by the way, is also suing the NYPD, claiming officers abused her when she was arrested in the Bronx during a protest over the murder of George Floyd in June of 2020. Again, I did not have this information yesterday, and none of it surprises me. I made exactly the right prognostications about her, that she's a whack job type BLM protester who is exceedingly violent. And despite her violence, despite having an arrest record with the NYPD, despite the fact that they knew this individual was a problem and they arrested her, they apprehended this person, she still was allowed to teach in the halls at NYU and Hunter College. She is not the only person that should be fired from Hunter College.
Yeah, she is a baddie. You're not wrong, Ellen DeGenerate. Now, to be clear, I do think that if someone is, like, very clearly at risk of committing violence, they probably shouldn't be working in a teaching setting. But the idea that, like, I don't know what criminal record she had, and Candace is being seemingly blatantly vague about it, but if she'd been, like, say, for example, arrested for trespassing at, like, 17 while out, like, just fucking around with friends or something, I don't think that should bar her from being able to have a teaching position. Like, I don't think that committing a crime at some point in your life should like bar you permanent, besides very specific examples, should bar you from being able to have like a fulfilling career, assuming you know, are a safe person to be around, right? She was charged with stealing my heart reel. But like, in all seriousness, like, obviously you don't want like a pedophile, like a convicted child molester, to be working at a school. That's a pretty clear example of like an exception to what I'm talking about. But I don't think that like if somebody, like, let's say for example, somebody robbed a bank, straight up robbed a bank. They were a professional bank robber, got arrested, served 20 years in prison, and now they're free. And they've rehabilitated. They're a different person now than they were when they went in. Does that person deserve to have that crime like held against them morally? Okay, well, you guys... Okay, sorry, wait. Sorry, I should have thought of something less based. Fuck, okay. Sorry, God. I thought of, like, the only thing that I could have said that you guys would have been like, oh, shit, based. Okay. Imagine they raided a fucking orphanage and robbed an orphanage, okay? And that's where they got their money from. And they got arrested, served 20 years, different person now. They deserve to morally have that held over their head for the rest of their life? If they're a different person now? Because I don't think so. I'm in favor of rehabilitation. You know, I'm in favor of rehabilitation. And I do think that morally condemning someone for life based on actions they committed in the past is just not a good look. I just don't think it's a good look, personally.
College. The entire ecosystem that ever allowed her into a position to harm children should be fired, right? Whatever it is, it's going to be some DEI office that's looking for unique and artsy individuals with the history of being violent and protesting and standing up for their rights. They should all be fired. They should all be dismissed. And this goes back to something that is wonderful about Ron DeSantis, that he has done this in the state of Florida, that he has said no to adjunct professors like Shalene Rodriguez, who have no place anywhere but in a prison. If you like this video, you will like the full episode even better.
Yeah. I mean, she's a fascist. She wants anybody that, like, dissents politically in like, prison, but if she can justify it with somebody having committed a crime, then, yeah, she'll do that instead. Well, that was probably one of the most racist rants I've heard in my life, unironically. Like, obviously I've heard more racist rants from movies and stuff, but, and on Twitter, but, like, in terms of, like, seeing a video of someone on a racist rant, that was unironically one of the most racist rants I've heard. Go to Stormfront News for the full episode. That's a good meme.